Hi everybody, this is Natamars. We're going to react to an episode of Dragon's Den, the Canadian version of Shark Tank. Basically where a bunch of investors grill a founder on their company. And as the founder of Raises.com, we're going to take a look at we help people raise capital for assets. A lot of it is institutional, so it will just be a different perspective on some of this mass market glitz and glam. So let's take a look and see what they have going on. So this is more than just a disability aid.
About their disability, and when people look at you, they just focus on the walking stick.
Lindsay's sticks aim to encourage people to look beyond their users' disability. And she's hopeful that the dragons will not only buy into the idea, but also her as well.
I think the dragons will see me as an investable person because I'm the only person in the world doing.
So see me as an investable person. One thing I notice is when the deals are like early stage or they're small or there's barely any revenue, I noticed that people focus more on the individual. Well, I guess two cases. If somebody is raising money for a fund where there's no deal in sight, it's really just an idea and a mandate, or they're raising money for an early stage company that doesn't have proven revenues, then the person matters way more than the deal. But I noticed that if there's an amazing deal with amazing numbers, like 80% profit margin, amazing cash flow, high valuation, and good systems, the person matters, but the business also matters. So if you're leading with the person, I'm wondering if the revenues are that good just initially. But let's see.
What I do, and that's true. It is.
And you notice, like, it's a mass market thing. You see the songs, the emotions, and all this. But really, I don't know, like, it's really about what's the cash, right? And what are the cash flows of the company. That's really where everyone's mind should be at. And a lot of this preamble is because of the sales, the marketing, and how can you not listen to somebody on a wheelchair? Like, just from a marketing perspective, I think they'll really resonate to their target market.
Hello, dragons. My name's Lindsay, and I'm here today asking for an investment of £80,000 for a 15% share in my company.
80,000 for 15%. So, yeah, that's a pretty small valuation there. Yeah, it's just really, how do they come, the question I always have in my head is how do they come to the value, that valuation of the company? Because if it was one of the CFAs, Chartered Financial Analysts that we work with, they would just analyze a company's free cash flow and base it based on that. So I wonder how they're basing it, and I wonder why in a lot of these shows they don't ask that question, what's the valuation based on? But let's see.
NeoWalk. Now, when disability came knocking on my door, I was around your age, Sarah, and I was only 43 when I lost my leg because...
See, it's a good pitch because it's he addresses somebody's age and then looks at them and...
of an MRSA infection.
Talks about the emotion right away.
And when I looked around, I saw a grey, ugly, dull world of walking sticks. And after many, many botched attempts at home, I finally made my first acrylic walking stick. And it was gorgeous, and I felt confident, and now NeoWalk has over 200 different combinations of styles and patterns, and our NeoWalk family is hugely diverse, from teenagers to veterans.
So this is really, I think it's really good. The only thing is that I was going to criticize something, but they fixed it, because at first she was talking about herself and her problems, which is good. But then she also talked about her quote-unquote clients or her customers' problems. Because if she's showing that she understands her customers' problems, and that's super important, because if you don't understand your customers' problems, you might as well shut everything down.
And even some celebrities. Now, I've made you all your own walking stick. Have a go, and I'll introduce you to Jez and Katie, and if you'd like to ask any questions, I'm really happy to answer them. She
should have talked about like her profit margins. That's the only thing. But I love the way that she talks about her target market, and it's not just an emotional story that doesn't connect to the target market, but if she just had a bit of more about the profit margin, then she could prevent the objections that the investors are going to give.
Sticks in a range of styles and colours are the offering from Lindsay Watterson.
How do you find them?
I find them really, really comfortable to walk around in.
She's seeking £80,000 in exchange for a 15% share of her bespoke mobility aids business.
Stephen, yours lights up.
Oh, hello.
Lindsay may have already illuminated the den, but will her products earn a glowing review from the Dragons? Sarah Davies is first to try and get a handle on the business, and she's clearly been gripped by this entrepreneur's story.
Like, if you on a level, it's actually such a basic product in a way. It's really just a shiny, like in a way, it's just a shiny cane, basically. But I think the point is if people are buying it and if it resonates with the target market.
I can't imagine me at my age now having all of a sudden be thrown into something where you've got that debilitating feeling and then to top all of that off, you have to get up and use a plain wooden walking stick.
Yeah, it's a challenge and it's a big hurdle on that journey of disability, actually using mobility aids. We aim to destigmatise and normalise them.
So how long since the first one came off the production line?
I started the business in 2013, really just as a small business because I was acting and I was a circus performer as well.
You're a circus performer. What did you do?
Well, after I lost my leg, I was approached to be a performer in the opening and closing ceremonies for 2012. And at one point, there's a motorbike flies over the stadium with a blonde underneath, a one-legged blonde.
And that's you.
And yeah, flying.
That is an amazing thing to do.
It was incredible.
Excellent. Can you just talk me through the numbers?
2013 and
Talk me through the numbers. I wish they spoke to the numbers earlier.
all the way through, generally, because it was just a hobby business, was around about £10,000 a year. But
£10,000 a year.
2019
Yeah, that's really like.
into 20, we turned over 13,000. And then last year we
13,000, so a 3K increase.
turned over 70,000.
There we go.
And this year we are on target to turn over 200,000.
So that's not that bad. So 200,000 is not that bad. Like, it sounds like it's a small business. You know, she probably is looking for help to grow it. So there's nothing wrong in that, right?
So how can you take that business to the next
The
level?
question is the profit margin and the growth plan.
I don't know whether any of you have encountered an MRI scan. Because it's a magnetic machine, you're not allowed to take anything metal into the room. And I've been manhandled over to the scanner bed, and it's really quite undignified. These walking sticks that we make are all acrylic. So we aim to access the NHS to be able to supply scanner-friendly walking sticks.
That's a really good idea. But then one thing is that, the thing of this pitch in general, and a lot of these pitches, but this one specifically, is that it's over emotional, in my opinion. It's over emotional. Like, there has to be more of like a cold, like there has to be like a side for the emotion, and there has to be like another side for the cold, brutal logic. So I think they need to add a bit more in that. Like, okay, I have 5 partners, they said this, here's what they said, and here's how I partner with them. There's a 20% chance that one of them will say yes, and then after that, we'll get access to this many customers, which will have, so something like that. But her style seems to be working for her so far, right?
The mobility aid entrepreneur floats a tantalizing prospect, doing business with hospitals across the country. And the purpose underpinning Lindsay's product.
Like, it's cool at a high level and you have the narrator, but if this is actually serious and she has those business to business deals that go through, it could produce a lot of cash. Because one problem with the business to consumer businesses is that you have to partner with an influencer or run ads, to get many sales. But if you just partner with one of these hubs instead of the spokes, then you can have one partnership that gets your product out like crazy. So it's like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars if she signs a deal with the right people. But again, like, I wish she had a specific plan or a specific roadmap of how many people she spoke to, just in a sentence or two, like, and what was the feedback? How likely or interested are they in proceeding or like going with her, right?
Has already resonated with Deborah Meaden.
I recognise the problem because my sister's in a wheelchair and she hates being manhandled. You know, of course you want to make your own way. So how much do they sell for?
They average £75.
That's at retail?
Yes.
And so what's your most expensive one?
A light up Starry Sky, which will retail at £119.
Okay, and the one you plan talking to the NHS about?
Would be around £40.
Okay, and how much they cost you to make at the moment?
£16.
Can I stop you there
That's interesting.
for a second? Have you ever
Sounds like a good profit margin. I wonder what else she's paying for.
cost you one of these anywhere else?
Well, I buy the rods from China for around about £12.
That's expensive. I'm only saying that because if you go to the NHS say, well, we're not going to pay you a premium.
No.
And we haven't got the budget.
No.
You could probably make that for $3 or $4. $5 maximum. You need to go back to China and say to China, look, I'm going to be pitching this to some big players. My target price is $5.
That's awesome, and that's why I like the show, because if they do bigger deals, they have more volume. They can probably get a bigger volume discount, and I have no idea how they negotiate with these factories.
You'd be surprised.
A spot of outsourcing sorcery, courtesy of manufacturing maestro Tuka Suleiman. But will the Dragons be willing to provide the mobility aid entrepreneur with the support her business craves?
Lindsay, well, congratulations, well done. I mean, you've come through.
Entrepreneurs come into the den. They pitch it that they attract a dragon. Now, if you'd come here and said, guys, sometimes when entrepreneurs come into the den, they pitch it that they attract a dragon. Now, if you'd come here and said, guys, I need some help in my sourcing and I need £30,000, that's a punt. But unfortunately, you haven't pitched a business to me that is viable to invest £80,000. So for that reason, I'm out.
See, that's kind of partly what I was saying, is that the story is good, but the cold, logical, calculated part of the business where it's just about numbers and survival, that part's not really there, because this looks more kind of like, if it was serious, it would be more like, okay, yeah, we've talked to this many hospitals and we had this much, this many things going, you know, but it's more just kind of like a, like the 80,000 per year is good, or the 70,000 per year revenue is okay, it's okay, or the 200,000. But I think it's just because of that logical part, that's why he left.
You are a great entrepreneur, and you've also created a really great product. But as an investor,
and this guy is actually pretty solid. I think before the age of 30, I think he had an IPO in the UK. So this guy is probably one of the best people to speak on anything in this whole video.
I look at this in terms of, if I deploy my capital, when will it come home back to?
I forgot his name, but he wrote the book called Happy Sexy Millionaire.
Back to daddy. And I don't actually think I'll be able to get my capital back within the next 5 years at least. So for that reason.
So do you see how he's scientific and he's like calculated? He's like, in 5 years, I don't think I'll get my money, so no. So do you see how you should just have that part solid before you talk about the emotion? Because if you have like something where there are wheelchairs, there are suicides and all these problems, it's true and it's good and it's whatever. But then if the money isn't there, then it's really just talk, you know? So.
I applaud you, but I'm out.
Like you can't pay rent with an applause, right?
There's a saying in the investment community, and that is that debt is cheaper than equity. You've got a great case that you could go to the banks and say, I need a little bit of capital, and you could use that to organically grow the business in a way that would allow you to maintain.
She looks so disappointed.
In control of the business. So my advice to you would definitely be, if you feel you need capital to grow the business, explore the debt route before the equity route. So for that reason, I'm going to wish you all the best, but it's not an investment for me today, Nama.
But you know what? Like, I didn't really see why she wanted the capital. I didn't really see what the use of the funds, the use of the capital.
4 dragons are now out. Only Deborah Meaden remains. She's already lent this entrepreneur's plans a sympathetic ear. But does she also have her eye on a deal?
So, Lindsay, it's a really, really nice product. And it would really take a stigma of a walking stick away.
But
I almost certainly will buy one for my sister, possibly 2. But at the moment, in your format, you're not the solution for the NHS, because I promise you, they will find another solution that costs less than £40. And therefore, I don't want to invest, because all I'll do is take a bit of your business, and I'm going to sit here feeling like I've hardly made a difference. So I won't be investing. I'm out.
okay, so she was taking the same angle as the first guy with somebody who copy you. Not somebody will copy you, they will do the same thing that you're doing. Interesting. I'm not aware how undefensible this type of business model is.
Thank you.
I think bottom line, if she had more sales, then it would have been way better. But anyway, no, that was an interesting video, and it's just something different. So if you want to learn about, capital raising for, assets, real assets that can actually like really get done, and deals that can actually get done, just head to raises.com. But if you're not ready for that, you want to get in a giveaway, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell so you can learn more, and we'll see you in the next video.